Hello everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you're doing very well. Merry Christmas to everyone involved. Involved. I don't think anyone wants to be involved in the result. I don't know why I said that. But Merry Christmas regardless. I was going to bring my Christmas hat, but I decided not to save the embarrassment of a result like this. I remember when we lost against Wolves on Christmas Eve and we all had our blue Christmas hats. That was the most cringe, embarrassing thing I've ever seen in my life. Everyone swinging their Christmas hats in the stands as if we're actually doing something when we've literally just lost against Wolves. Now, Aston Villa are obviously a better team than Wolves, but yeah, you still expect to win, even if they're ahead of you in the table. Well, there's a standard, isn't there? There's a precedent. And there's an expectation. You know, we've had a pretty, not a great December. It's been a bad December. I almost think we haven't really talked enough about December. We need to do a December review. But it's been a letdown in many regards. If I look through the fixtures, if I replay the journeys, the experiences that I've had, there's obviously been some good times, but there's also been some pretty bad ones as well. Which I think Father mentioned earlier on in his fan camp. So if you want to revisit that, you can. But I mean, let's just have a brief look. We lost to Leeds. We drew against Bournemouth. We lost to Atalanta. Beat Everton. Beat Cardiff. We thought we're back. And then we got that draw against Newcastle. And we've obviously lost today against Aston Villa. It's not been a great month, to be honest. It's not been a great month. And we've put ourselves under unnecessary pressure. You know, the Champions League could have been done and dusted if we would have done something against Karabag and got the 3 points in that game. And if we'd have beaten Atalanta, these are reasonable expectations. And then you look at Leeds, you say, you know what, fair enough, things happen. And you got Bournemouth. And today, it's just disappointing. Like, I'm not at the stage of anger. I'm really not there. I will get there if it continues to go. I mean, for those of you who have been watching this channel at least for a year, you know how I was around the February, March time. Very, very depressing times. I hope I don't get to that stage. I really hope I don't. Because I love watching Chelsea. I love following Chelsea. But I'm not getting any inspiration at the moment. I'm not really seeing much character in terms of iconic players that I see coming off the bench and go, you will win me this game. You will grab this game by the scruff of the neck. And no, I'm not talking about you, Delap, because when I say grab it by the scruff of the neck, you literally do that. And then you get sent off, you get a yellow card. I'm not talking about that. I want to see players taking ownership of what is happening and going, I am going to be the man to lead this team forward. Palmer comes on, Esteval comes on, you're like, fine. Gittins for Garnacho, it's like, oh. Delap's on, honestly, man. And Gusto, to be honest, I get it. You've got to give Cucurella a rest at some point. But, like, there's no inspiration. This is not an issue with regards to the manager because everybody was happy with the starting 11 apart from Badiashile. But then you see Fofana's going to start on Tuesday and you understand that decision. So I can't criticise that. I want to talk about a positive. Or I want to talk about Robert Sanchez. Honestly, that man. Give Robert Sanchez some credit, for Christ's sake. If you want to find some positives, look at the goalkeeper. Not only do we have a hilarious chant now, he used to be shite, now he's all right. But we actually have a keeper that I genuinely feel and have felt for a number of months now pretty confident with, pretty comfortable with. But Sanchez isn't going to win you all the games if you can't stick the ball in the back of the net, Garnacho. If you can't take your chances, Pedro Neto. If you don't make an impact coming off the bench, Liam Delap. Palmer, again, it's like sloppy. I thought he had the worst game of his Chelsea career against Newcastle. I thought that was the worst. Honestly, it was the worst. I love Palmer, but that was just pathetic. And today, I can't say the same. It wasn't pathetic, but it was just uninspiring. It's like boys on a football pitch. When you have an opportunity, shoot. Shoot with some conviction, man. And I feel like our inexperience is really showing at the moment. Like, I'm looking at the players and I'm saying, right, who are we looking at to drive this team forward? And James is a pretty clear candidate for that. I think Sanchez is, he's leading well in terms of what he's able to do. Cucurella is a good player. And I think Caicedo, does a good job. It's interesting when I ask people about Enzo Fernandez as well, I get very mixed opinions. And it's like the conversation we had was, if you're getting the GA, then you don't really mind when he's not dominating the midfield. But if you're not getting in the GA, it's very hard to justify his performances because he can look great at times, but just not necessarily got that bite that I'm looking for. But Fernandes is not the biggest problem at this club. By far is he the biggest problem. And certainly that midfield is not really an issue. The issue is the front line. It's the front line, and then we dig a little bit deeper. It's who we signed. Why did we sign them? How much did we pay for them? And what was the sort of thought process when we were looking into the recruitment side of things? Because now this is Clear Lake's Chelsea. This is Clear Lake Capital's Chelsea. This is Private Equity FC here at work. What do we have to show for all of the investment? And the answer is enough to get us top four, which I still believe that we can get. Maybe enough for a cup, which I still believe we can get, but it's not enough to win a Premier League, and it's not enough to win a Champions League at this moment in time, as far as I'm concerned. I really don't believe it's enough. Now, Club World Cup, people will say, well, we won that. Why wouldn't we be able to win a Champions League? Well, when you have a Club World Cup, that's the only competition you're playing. That's the only competition you have to worry about. Champions League, you're juggling all these other competitions and you're having to prioritise. You've got a Premier League game here, you've got a League Cup game, you've got an FA Cup game, then you've got a European game. So it's different. It's very, very different. If we want to prioritise the Champions League, then maybe we can do it. But we've got other things that we're juggling at the moment. And I don't think Champions League should be our number one in terms of the fact that, do you realistically think we're going to win it? I think a Carabao Cup is realistic. We're in the semi-finals, man, against Arsenal, who are shy. They can't win trophies. So we've actually got a chance of winning the Carabao. You know, then I look at what I'm seeing Newcastle sit the other side. We go to Wembley, we can get a result. I'm looking at the Premier League, though, and I'm really struggling to build an argument here. I'm struggling. Erling Haaland, Ekitike. These are strikers, man. And then I look at João Pedro, who I know got the goal today. Still doesn't inspire me, to be honest. The Lamp has to be given time. But at the same time, you can't deny that if a player's not good enough, you don't even want him to feature in the first place. Just like when Jamie Gittins gets signed, you know he's not good enough to start for us every week and he's a young player, he needs to develop. But I don't want him playing every week for us. Send these guys to Strasbourg if they need more time to develop. Maresca is the least of our problems at the moment. Maresca is the least of our problems. Maresca has shown that he is able to work well when being sabotaged by his own board. He is able to work with players who have limited to no experience. And he is able to manage a squad that looked like it was on the brink of capitulation. The club was collapsing. There was protests outside Stamford Bridge. And we won 2 trophies and got Champions League football. So this is not a manager that I think shouldn't have any credit in the bank. There is absolutely credit there. But you don't want to give it to him, and that's fine. You don't want to give it to him, and you want to blame the manager. You want to blame the manager that he doesn't actually have any other better options to bring off the bench and make an impact. You want to blame the manager for a style of play, but if we had better players, the style of play would be more attractive. We would be able to take those chances that Garnacho missed. We would have more conviction. And this is ultimately what experience and quality is going to give you. And then a manager just has to enhance that. And now he's working with players ultimately who are still finding their way. We have built a spine. Whether you want to admit it or not, we have built a spine. Cucurella is a part of that spine. Reece James is a part of that spine. Enzo and Caicedo are part of that spine. I would say Pedro Neto is a part of that spine. But when you look at other aspects of the team, it's just not good enough. Centre-back, no depth. Not enough quality. Wingers, pathetic. I like Garnacho. I like the guy. I like him. Doesn't mean I believe he's going to win me a league title. I can admit when a player has a bad game. I can admit when it's just jarring. It is. It's like, fucking hell, man. How many girls are you going to walk up to that reject you before you go, it's time to move on, man. Go to the next club or call it a day. Have an early night. Fucking hell. And then I see Jamie Gittins. This guy doesn't even walk up to the girls. He's just fucking standing there in the corner, man. Have some balls. But, I mean, actually, I say that. He had more character today than usual. Maybe I shouldn't take that away from him. I need character. I need some character. This is a difficult period that we're going to experience in 2026 in January. It's my birthday. Am I expecting some good results? It would be nice. We're playing Crystal Palace around my birthday. We've got 9 games. There's going to be a lot of rotation, heavy rotation. And we have to accept that with a young group of boys, a lot of them are, they are going to be going through something this season that they've never gone through. Esteval hasn't experienced January in the Premier League. Delap hasn't experienced this with a top team like Chelsea. These are players that we want to lean on. But unfortunately, I think if we do lean on them, they won't be able to hold us up. And we're going to have moments where you've got that wave effect, up and down with results. Maybe that's what we're experiencing now. But yeah, I'm not going to read too much into this result in terms of where I think that we're going to end up for the season. I still believe we can get top 4. I still believe we can win a trophy. That's ultimately where I'm at. And if we get knocked out of the Carabao Cup, maybe that stance will change. But up until that point, I just know that we don't have players that are of the level to produce performances every week. We just don't have it. All right, and that's the sad truth. But yeah, once again, hats off to Sanchez. Very respectable performance. Hats off to Reece James. I thought Caicedo was good, and that's pretty much the majority, if I'm honest. And yeah, let me know what you think, guys. If you agree or disagree with what I've said. All the best, guys. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year as well.